Hiya, my name's Charlie and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be recommending you some short books. So if any of you that are like me that are struggling to read or feeling a bit slumpy and you just want something quick to pick up, these books will be perfect for you. So I'm just going to dive right in. The first book I would like to talk to you about is Aminas Voice. This is about the title character Amina, and she's a young girl and she can sing. But no one else but her family kind of knows this. And this is also talking about like friendship, because she's got a friend. She's friends with this girl called Sujin since they were like really little, young kids, and they're just about to go to like middle school. And basically, it's what happens there when Sujin becomes like close friends with one of the popular girls, and sort of there's jealousy there and stuff. And it also talks about there's some vandalism that happens in Aminas mosque, and the effects of the vandalism on the community and stuff, and kind of then what happens with the plot. So yeah, this is a really good book. I read this a few years ago with my lovely friend Gaia from Gaia Athena, and yeah, it's just a really easy one to get through, but also tackles some deeper themes. So yeah, highly recommend this one. Beautiful cover. The next one on my list is The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. This is quite a famous sort of gothic classic. Most of you probably will know about it, but for those of you that don't, it's set in sort of the like an isolated estate. So we follow Arthur Kipps, who is a solicitor, and he's been called to attend the estate of Alice Drablow, and sort of like to sort of tie up the loose ends of it. And whilst he's at like the funeral and dealing with all of the house stuff, which is set in this, the house is set at an isolated location at the end of a causeway, and yeah, whilst he's there, he sees this woman in black, and it's really creepy. It's obviously there's loads of tension in this, and it's obviously kind of like a ghost story. So one of the things I loved about this book was like the descriptive writing and like the settings, and like you really feel the sense of place, obviously, like I said. And I actually read this when I went away for like in the cottage in the countryside with my family, and it was like in the autumn, and it was just so atmospheric, and it gave me chills, and it just really stuck with me. And it's just such a wonderful quick read, and if you like, those of you that like kind of creepy books, it's a must read on your pile. So yeah, definitely add that one. The next one on my list is Three Men in a Boat by Jerome. This is set in 1889, and we follow in the summer of 1889, and we follow three men and a dog. The characters' names are George, Jay and Harris, and as the title would suggest, we follow them going on a river boat, like up a boat trip up along the Thames, and sort of all the adventures that sort of happen along the way of it. It's sort of and the mishaps and things. It's just a really delightful like light-hearted read, and I remember I read this in 2020, in March 2020 specifically, like as like the pandemic was hitting. So obviously at that time my concentration was really low, and this was one of the ones that felt hooked into, and it was just such a delightful, happy kind of a delightful book. So yeah, highly recommend Three Men in a Boat if you want something kind of light and easy going. The next book I'd like to recommend is Night by Elie Wiesel. Obviously this is a non-fiction, and we follow Elie's experiences of his time in like arriving in the Nazi camp. So at the start of the book, it's set in his the Transylvanian town of Szeged, which is obviously where Elie grew up, and all the Jewish community at that time were herded into these ghettos by the Germans, and then they were then taken off to these Nazi concentration camps. And obviously we sort of see about him being separated from his mum and his sister. We follow the harsh reality of the Holocaust, and obviously the peril that he faced in order to survive. And it's very brutal, but it's just beautifully written, and this book had a huge impact on me. It's again a very less than 200 pages. I think it may even be less than 150. It's 112 pages, but it's yeah, one I think that lots of you might not enjoy but get something out of. So if you haven't read Night by Elie Wiesel, one to add to your list. The next book I wish to recommend is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and this is such a really sweet kind of, again, escapist kind of read, and there's a whole series of these books that's sort of like starting to come out. This is the first one, and then called Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I've also got the second one, which is Tales from the Cafe, obviously, and then there's going to be a third one out in September called Before Your Memory Fades. And basically the whole premise of these books is based around this cafe where people go, and the idea is that you can time travel in this book, and that there are like rules to it. So the rules are that so you can only time travel in this cafe, and you have to obviously return before the coffee gets cold. So in this particular book, we follow one confronting a lover who had left them. We also follow a character that had received a letter from a husband whose memory has started to fade, and then we follow one of the other characters wants to see her sister for the last time, and another one of the characters wants to see the daughter that she never got to know. So it's just so like there's like this book. I think actually this book actually made me cry when I read it in one part of it, because there's obviously a discussion around grief, and even though it's very like, again, kind of sparse kind of writing, it's just so gorgeous. I just think it's really beautiful, just wonderful stories to kind of easily guide yourself through without feeling too stressed, and kind of, yeah, beautiful escapist reads. So that is my other one. The last book I want to talk about is one that I saw that I haven't actually read yet, but it's one that I'm sort of wanting to show you guys because I'm excited for it. And it's one that I saw on Fraser's channel, which is Fraser Simons from Springboard Thought. I'll link his channel here and there. And he talked about this book called Zorrie, and it's by Laird, and it's a super short book. We follow the life of Zorrie, and it's what he's kind of said about it that kind of just like drew me in was that he said it's sort of like an Anne of Green Gables kind of story, but it's so obviously seeing her whole life, and then obviously, and he said that it's like a perfect escape read, and he said it's very well paced. So so he completely sold it, and after he talked about it, I was like, I need to read Zorrie. This potentially could be on the Booker as well, like long list maybe. Will it be? I don't know. Which gives it an extra point in terms of me wanting to pick it up sooner. Potentially this could be like a 5-star read, and it could be one that lots of us will enjoy. So that's why I'm adding it to this book, even though I haven't read it. Hopefully I will, and I will love it. I will read it and I will love it, so hopefully. So those are all the books that I wanted to recommend to you guys. Let me know what your favourite short books are. I have done a previous video about short books, but I think it was short books I wanted to read, so maybe I should react to that video and see how many of them I actually did read. But I will link that in the description below. Tell me your recommendations, and let's just have a good old natter about it all in the comments. So yeah, thank you very much, and sending you guys lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.